Hi everyone, and welcome to my review for Aesop Rock's brand new album, sort of little EP, Freedom Finger, music from the game. Which game, you may ask? Well, the game Freedom Finger. We'll get into that shortly. This is the Headspace Podcast, a little bonus episode because this dropped today. I'm reviewing it today. It's April 7th. My name is Holden Stephan Roy. We go through these albums track by track here on this show, usually of the new hip-hop variety. I certainly believe Aesop Rock counts for this qualification, and here we are breaking down Freedom Finger, music from the game. So, before we get into it, I do want to let you know Aesop Rock is a dance dude, and I recognize that with the hour and a half I've spent with this project, there is a lot that I may not get, so I will do my absolute best to get through this and make it as invigorating as I can with my insight. First off, what is Freedom Finger? Well, it is actually a video game, a little game. I would never play this, to be honest. I'm not really a platformer, but it's a platformer where you are a middle finger. And the one niche that I thought was super interesting looking at the trailer of this game is that you basically can take bad guys and turn them into your weapons. So you would basically take your middle finger, which I assume is a rocket ship for the plot of the game, and you basically finger some enemy in the game, and it like evolves Kirby style to give you some power. And that alone I thought was pretty riveting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still not going to spend 18 Canadian dollars to purchase a game that I will never play, and that's just because I'm still playing Skyrim on my Switch. It's been like a year and a half, and I'm so close to being done so I can move on to the South Park Fractured Butthole. Anyhow, back to Aesop Rock. I like the dude. I like to start off the show contextualizing my familiarity with each artist because I think it's fair. All of y'all clicking on this are either Rhymesayers fans or Aesop Rock fans, or you might just be folk who played the game and be down to it. The game looks like it's just back to the game for a second. It does look like each level is synchronized to a soundtrack. So Aesop Rock or Rhymesayers or whoever it is teamed up with Freedom Finger for this DLC, which introduced 3 new levels, each one corresponding to these original tracks that Aesop Rock put together. And because I might forget to say it, he also did the instrumentals, which I think is just really dope to see him. I mean, I know that like for all y'all big time fans of him, y'all like listen to a lot of his production and whatnot. For me, my experience with Aesop Rock is unfortunately a little more limited than it should be. I did the Malibu Can album review when that dropped, and it blew my mind. I thought it was an invigorating experience to listen to it, but he didn't actually do the beats on that project. Otherwise, I think None Shall Pass is a riveting song in and of itself. My girlfriend, your lady friend Bonnie, she proceeded to do a lyrical breakdown of that track on this channel, so if you type in behind that suit Aesop Rock None Shall Pass, it'll pop up. I recommend you check it out. It is one of those videos that still gets clicks, so evidently there's some interest there. Y'all might have interest in that. Anyway, enough of that self-promo. What I can say about Aesop Rock is the guy is a linguist at a supreme level. I like to think my poetic analysis skill is like decent. I think that's the main draw of why people watch me. But end of the day, Aesop Rock is above my skill level, and I recognize that coming into it. So I feel like listening to some of his metaphors and the way he just constructs sentences, it's like you actually have to catch every reference to like understand what he's saying. But just knowing that everything means something just makes it like a puzzle that you want to listen to it over and over and over again just to figure it out. So I'm certain 2-3 weeks from now I'm gonna be bumping these tracks because all 3 of them are bangers, spoiler alert, and I'm gonna be like unlocking mysteries and I'm gonna be like, damn, I wish I said that when I was recording. Oh well. So I just think it's such a cool concept though to have that kind of a DLC collaboration where I guess if it's like rock band style like music-y game, it kind of makes sense, but this is like taking a game where you literally play with a finger and you proceed to blast enemies. It's just such a nifty concept. I'm a huge Rhymesayers fan, or at least I've become one. The more I review their work on this channel, to a point where I had the privilege of seeing Atmosphere perform in Montreal before we all got locked down in quarantine. How is your quarantine going? Are you like stuck at home, bored, with a lot of excess time watching behind that suit content? If so, my heart bleeds for y'all. And like, I'm with you. We can't go anywhere. And in my city, we live in like one of the most infected spots, so we're like extra incentivized to stay the fuck home, and that's what we're doing. So I guess when things like an Aesop Rock album kind of drops, we can just kind of jump on that a little quicker, because truth is, if I go to bed an extra hour late, I got all this extra time to sleep because I got no travel time to get to work. Okay, anyway, back to this review. I kind of get the title is just the name of the game. It's nothing special. There's no extra significance, I suppose, to me. It's an interesting idea, just the title of the game, because it's a middle finger blasting. It's pretty self-evident. I love the cover because not only does it like have like plays homage to the game and has the gameplay a little bit playing up at the top of the cover, but more you see all these skulls and just the consequence of this mighty freedom finger at work and the devastation that comes in its way. And if we think about hip-hop as kind of a combat sport, a lyrics and skill, it is an apt metaphor in a sense of Aesop Rock's lyricism banging out anybody that's competition. So it's kind of a cool, I'm hoping that I'm right, double entendre that is kind of put out there. And I think it also represents a core theme of the album, which we will get into in a quick second as we talk about Play Dead. So I'm going to guess here that this track directly corresponds in terms of what this game is, right? So this whole first verse, as we'll go through it in a second, looks to be kind of space fighty, like popping around, blasting shit. Like you almost get a verbal description of the action that's happening within the game, and it's clever. But I think the secondary point is it's almost like I was saying with hip-hop being a bit of a combat sport. It's just instead of manifesting it in the more conventional ways that we think about it, Aesop has chosen this more science fiction, kind of like in light of what this video game is, way to represent it. But if you think about a video game like this, you effectively go through the level trying to obtain like the highest score, in the same way that in theory when we create songs and whatnot, we're all trying to like bang out the most amazing thing that we absolutely can, in a sense, to compete for the attention spans of others. Now, I'm not even trying to say that this is about pop fame. I'm saying that everybody's trying to be the best at what they do when they're trying, like, competitively, in a sense. And I feel that energy, that competition, that swag, and just in his delivery, like that bad shit, I'm bad shit, my ships crash, my zigzag, zig. It's just got this flow to it, this like delightful confidence that just oozes, like something like you would expect from a Griselda Records type dude, in terms of the raw, like just fucking bravado that comes off in his voice, the swag. Like you can picture him flying that middle finger ship, just zigzagging around in a zigzag pattern. It's really great. And then that beat just has this weird video game spaceship feel to it, but it's also got this like modern bop. So something that like I've been really fascinated by is how would this translate to a live party scenario? Because so often with the tight lyricists, the songs come at you in a way where like, yo, totally when it's time to sit there with headphones on, vibe out and be pensive, the shit makes total sense and you get all these meaningful experiences. But like when I'm pleasure listening, there's a good chance I'm washing dishes and I want something with a bounce so that I can like, you know, move a bit and kind of dance while I'm moving around. And I gotta give Aesop complete credit here. I could like bang out, like just have a grand old time bopping out to this track, washing some dishes, banging out. Just the energy is amazing. But then lyrically, it's also super tight in the sense where it's like, bad shit, I'm bad shit, my ships crash, my zag, I'm all whiplashing that black tint, black ash on my flag pin. So you just picture him as like this pilot in, you know, this like spaceship cruising around. I go zip zap and y'all backspin, y'all spacecraft's called Mayday. So here it's like he's blasting, right? And he's just taking shit out and the enemy ships is getting fucked up. But if we flip that into more of a battle rap kind of scenario, he's is effectively saying my gun's bigger than your gun. And I like that. I like this creative twist on, the regular. It just makes it like invigorating. Rather than saying I'm more creative than you, he says I'm gonna basically outperform you, but does it in a way that's just so left field. I like tailspins when they backlit. That's like when the spaceship's on fire and it's cruising out and Cat's scrambling for that safe space and everyone's trying to escape the situation. Like, literally, he's describing, like, motherfuckers on the run. He could, like, this is effectively the Star Wars version of, like, and I blast y'all, my guns be coming through in a drive-by, and y'all running away. Instead, he does it in such a cool way. He plays defense around dead zones. Next up to call explode. Rest up, I go death punch. It rains effed up UFOs. I love that. It rains effed up UFOs. Just the way you sing fucked up like that. Like, all of this is effectively that spaceship that I blasted that's on fire, that's trying to escape, is about to blow up. But he just says it with such swag, I throw episodes in all star maps that get veterans to bring barf bags. It bring Hellfire, little party hats for those parting ways with their tarmac. Again, following up on that language related, like a tarmac is what an airplane would take off of. So the Hellfire kind of responds to, like, you picture a couple little planes blasting each other and whatnot in the sky. He's up in the star maps. This would be like a way to track what's going on. So it's just half this verse has gone by, and effectively he is owning his spaceship combat situation, and effectively the rest of the verse just kind of keeps going through, like, blast off and get waxed off. Again, language that both implies gunplay, killing people, taking them out, but simultaneously it's like a rocket ship blasting off and shit. These saboteurs are like pack dogs, so fuck these fake guys, fuck these motherfuckers, like, it's all the conventions of, like, a regular ass pop song, except it's sci-fi. And that's so cool to me, because I like sci-fi, like, a ton. That's, like, A+. Like, this is just almost written for me, is my opinion of it. Like, I don't know. Knowing he's rhyme sayers, it makes me even happier I spent $60 fucking buying this damn hoodie at the Atmosphere show. I digress. Yeah, I just wanted to plug I was wearing a rhyme sayers hoodie in case it wasn't evident. I'm that kind of motherfucker. Anyway, I like when he's like, in my rear view is a little planet Earth, but my calendar is straight doomsday. And that's cool, right? Because there's the doomsday calendar and the clock and whatnot, so it alludes to that, the end of destruction. He can see planet Earth behind him as he's going away. Like, it's almost like this do or die mentality. I think it's so fucking cool. Anyway, we could just keep going on, but, like, I don't know if it's really worth me reading every fucking lyric. Y'all can hear the song, and it effectively just keeps going like that. Also, when he goes, I feed castaways to these gamma rays, I believe one of the characters in the game is also called Gamma Ray, so that's kind of cool. My handshake is all sleeper hold, right? Because he's basically a hand, middle finger, shooting shit. Like, it's just so clever how everything about this could make sense for the game, but also make sense for him fucking just being the greatest MC. Or then you get that cool chorus, right? Like, he's awake at 3 a.m. He found freedom in the mayhem, because the game's like Freedom Finger, and, you're playing games in the middle of the night. Give me a lost world to locate, because, like, that's what you're kind of doing in the game, I suppose. But it's also, like, what we're doing when we're up at 3 a.m. trying to escape life, playing video games. Get ghosts with folk who don't obey, okay. And this kind of is an interesting lyric to me, too, because if we take it, like, at a face value without any context, it's almost like if you can picture the type of person who might be an antisocial, fuck everybody, nice guy almost type that, like, chills out in his room, plays video games in the middle of the night, doesn't correspond to the world. If people criticize and aren't interested in the way that they're living or give them a hard time, they're just like, fuck you, and ghost out and just ignore you and just kind of, don't obey, as in the sense of, like, accept what you are. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was super cool. But in the other way of looking at it, it's kind of like in the same context of the game, he's blasting motherfuckers. Anyway, second verse really follows suit. Time is not a good friend. Smoke is being a good bookend. So a bookend holds up like books on a bookshelf. It's a support system. Time is not being a good friend. I'm getting older. So I took it like smoke is being a good friend, because certain THC-filled products can definitely help life as it gets more complicated and benign as you age. I'm no joke. I only go full send. Don't poke at the purebred bullheads, dog fights that call for old fight songs. Start crossing names off of the flight log. we're right back at it. He goes in hard. It's more airplane shit. It's more dope shit. Like, it's just him, and you're just picturing him battling it out. Like, if you close your eyes and just let the imagery take over, it is truly delightful. I like the might light cigars off the fireball because it kind of references the cigar dude that he references in the music video. That's one of the characters in the game. But apparently, this is thanks to Chili Peanut, the annotation on Genius. It also is Fireball whiskey, so it's like he's kind of lit off of that shit, smoking and his little cigars and the Fireball. And that it also has like this tough guy imagery to it, because if you really think about a whiskey drinking, cigar smoking motherfucker coming at you past any kind of dialogue, that's fucking aggressive. That's like a kind of guy you want to fuck with. It's almost like a mean ass general. Anyway, the whole track kind of rolls out with that. It's just fucking amazing. It's just really great. I'm giving this a 5 on 5. I rambled on for a little while on this, but I mean, every lyric in this just fits. His flow is fantastic. The way he just rhymes is really great. Like, I feed castaways to these gamma rays and my handshake is all sleep or hold. And then he just flips it. You're like, wait, what? Ease in and get heave-hoed, and with no easy mode and no foul play. And just the way he goes back to that root rhyme, because he got us all set up on that main rhyme, the castaway. And then he flips it with the hold rhyme there, which is it's a really like clever move. Like, he clearly understands the math of like macro rhythms. This is some shit that I'm using language I made up because it helps me understand flow, but like a lot of basic flows will follow a very linear path. It's very simple. But what he's doing here is he understands how to kind of create micro rhyme schemes that will follow back and land on the main rhyme scheme. So I've watched a bunch of guitar videos just on composition and shit. And one of the things you'll do with melody when you're playing a root is you'll have an anchor note. So you'll like have that note play and you go do 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 do, and then you'll land it back on that main note, giving it closure to the measure. In his same way, he's fucking with his rhyme scheme like that, landing back on that play sound or whatever, just to bring us back to the familiar closure, allowing him to deviate in a way that was off time, because when he dropped the sleeper hold, it was off. It wasn't what it was supposed to be or whatever. Now that to me is masterful rapping. That is when you're saying, fuck the flows that you're supposed to do. I'm going to come in here and show y'all how to rap, because I don't have to follow your rules. I'm going to make it work. And he just did exactly that. And so 5 on 5. This track is brilliant. Anyway, next up is King of World Peace, KOWP, KOWP. So apparently, and this is again thanks to Genius, because there are people up here literally annotating it live, Trapezoid House points out that this song name stands for King of World Peace, and the accompanying video game level features enemies like doves, peace signs, and flowers. So I suppose it's worth keeping in mind that the visual accompaniment to all of these tracks and the whole synchronization is meant to be played with this game. So with that in mind, I feel like it adds this extra layer of artistry, because it almost like put Aesop in a box that he has to play in. So again, this track makes sense within the context of being a soundtrack, in my opinion, of a video game. The beat's a little more laid back. It's kind of got a bop to it that's a little more chilled. It's a good like middle of the album, considering the energy of the first and the third tracks. And I like it lyrically, man. He just flows through it like, I could drive a car through a fence. Bonnie sitting shoddy, not Bobby and Ken. So my girlfriend's name is Bonnie, and she's not sitting shoddy because she's not in the room. But she is in the apartment social distancing with me. I guess that's the benefit of living with a significant other. Anyway, I like how he's kind of saying he's got like a Bonnie and Clyde situation going on. At least that's what I took. You know, he's kind of driving through a fence. You feel the recklessness. They're not Barbie and Ken, which is interesting, right? Because his last project, he took on the album persona of Malibu Ken. But it's more, I guess he's not fake. He's not that type of person. You know, probably dip instead of weathering your whims and woes to piss and moan. I prefer sticks and stones. So a lot of people like the kind of, just gossipy nature of talking and just kind of saying whatever words. Instead, he's going to come through and he's going to fight. He's going to keep it real and do it like that. I feel like, again, this track is just like Aesop Rock against the world, coming through with like this distinct style of authenticity and realness against the fake fucks out there kind of convoluting the music industry. That's just kind of the overall tone I take. From the unrelenting filigree of the digital roam, I throw a signal fit to eclipse video drone. More than pixie or pets, every pixel explodes in viewership as an emotional and physical toll. I get the feeling he's saying here that he's just bigger than the boring sense of mainstream culture, like a digital Rome. Rome had all of the circuses and cakes and basically empty entertainment to serve as a distraction. But then he comes through and throws a signal fit to Eclipse Videodrome, so his music and his message transmits in a way that would disrupt the kind of distractions that plague real life. Pixier pets, and the kind of high def pixelation of us being able to take these insanely great pictures of our pets on our Instagrams. And would I be lying if I said I didn't take cat pics for clout? Well, I would be lying, because I totally take cat pics for clout. At HSR514, follow me. You'll see all the books I read. Anyway, I find it an interesting point. He's just dislike of basic boring shit, and then viewership has an emotional and physical toll. So I suppose the constant creation of this empty fucking content taxes us all, but also consuming this content has a tax. And I like how he's like, I'm an 8-bit invader who vacate the cartridge, upgrade, now I make waves into lawless. So it's almost like he's saying, I'm an old school motherfucker from back in the day who left that world, and now I'm upgraded into a point where I can come in and fuck up your system. It's just dope, man. The way he plays these metaphors, I'm really enthralled with it. It's like the more you think about it, the more the puzzle pieces connect to kind of decorate a bigger pictures. It says decorate in the next line, so it popped into my head. Y'all still decorate an office in rainbows and dolphins, basically awake in a coffin. So this, I guess, is like a commentary on people who live that standard life and chase the standard dreams, but are basically effectively the living dead. Chrissy tattooed on his middle finger. The middle finger and shit. That's probably a reference to the game. I don't know who the fuck Chrissy is. Maybe Aesop has a tattoo of Chrissy on his finger. Y'all in the comments, let me know. Do your thing where you correct me. Took from his mother, tools from the head shrinker, duck of death, bringing me shit. I'm right here, bitch. Swing and a miss. Hiss. I just love the pause on the hiss and shit. But again, just the attitude of I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fucking take it on. And again, playing this video game where he's blasting on through and stuff, it just makes total sense in the way that it is delivered. I love the hook, speak from a circle of seats. That's an interesting point, right? Because there's other people in the game. Maybe there's a council, maybe it's the label, maybe it's also just the collective mind of gamers or something like that. Each get a turn, I'm the king of world peace. So it's almost like he's coming through and taking on this moniker, whether it's ironically because he's going to blast motherfuckers to oblivion to achieve that peace, or whether it's more literal. And then he goes, whoa, whoa, world peace, whoa, 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 world peace. It's fine. Teach him how to curse at police and flee from the church. I'm the king of world peace. So the fact that he's essentially sowing the seeds of an established kind of point of view is how he will achieve that world peace. Ironically, but I kind of like where he's coming from, because we are at a point where maybe a little rebellion in our lives might get us a little appreciation. Hopefully this unnameable plague situation that's plaguing us, that wasn't creative, is going to teach us all a little humility and appreciation, and hopefully we'll all read more books. That's all I'm trying to say. Anyway, second verse comes through, map of the dungeon, pack drugs, I'm a rat to a button. I guess that's kind of referencing like how video games had that dopamine release, that addictive nature to it, the empty entertainment of it all. If he's ironically taking shots at video games on a video game soundtrack, that's fucking amazing. Ask any kind of bad you can summon. I'ma run through brads like paper bag puppets. Bub, my dice got so many sides in no time you could throw them until you owe me your life. I don't fully get that. I don't know who the brads and the bub is, but I kind of like the idea that he's throwing it through where, with the dice idea that he has seen so much and he's very prepared at so many angles and so many things have gone through that you just can't handle his reality is effectively what I've taken. You can throw whatever at him and he'll still fuck you up, especially if you consider that the bad guys in this video game are just kind of puppets you can commandeer to turn into weapons. It kind of could play into that side of things too. In no time you could throw him till you owe me your life, throw forever, never once seen the same roll twice. Now I thought that was a cool just the idea of not seeing the same roll twice. Like, shit is so unpredictable, so random in his world, but he's so ready for this type of shit that like he would bamboozle your existence. It's no joke. I don't know the snake oil price. I'm a strange force hailing from the holy unknown. I tell a category 5 I need to go to his room. I probably hang from a helicopter more than I need, although I guess it tells what I thought of the scene. So here it's like he's this, so hailing, tied into category 5, which is a hurricane bar. Hey, and then he's flying on through these dangerous things. He's fucking hanging from a helicopter more than he has to. Like, he's doing this reckless, crazy shit because at the end of the day, you think you can fuck with him, but nah, you don't even know what you're getting up into. And I like this whole tone because, again, a lot of people can say shit like, I'm the best, but not a lot of people are making crazy helicopter fucking flying through hail hurricane bars, and so that makes it extra creative and dope. Anyway, it's fucking great. There is a whole third verse where I don't fully understand what he's going through on about, so I'm not gonna try to go through it bar by bar in a sense, but it does kind of like maintain it. Like, I skip stones that go for 10 days. I rid stones of most stuck swords. Go back signage over the front door. So I mean, I guess his power is he's like skip stones for 10 days. You typically get a couple skips, so it's amazing. He's got like that I guess, you know, story of Arthur ability to take like the sword out of the stone, you know, go back signage over his front door. Like, don't fuck with him. It's just the same kind of thing that flows through it, same kind of energy. I really did the track. I don't have a lot more to say on it. It's a 4.5 on 5. It's really well done. So far, I'm enthralled. I think anybody and everybody should be bumping this shit. One more track for us to discuss, and it's called Drums on the Wheel. This is what the fuck I would turn up to. This and Play Dead are tied for my favorite songs. They're both equally as hyped. Like, this is back to that whole, like, washing dishes, turn the fuck up type of shit that's there. Plus, he's got such a handle on this modern flow shit like that. Like, I feel like a lot of dudes rap this with auto-tune with this flow, and he's taken that flow, brought his gritty voice to it, and just banging out like this intensity. So this track has a music video. It goes along with the third song, and given the intro of the track, it sounds like it's from the perspective of the general dude. I'm also assuming because of the music video, trying to reach the player who's in this thing. Some bad shit's going on, and I just kind of like how it starts off like that. Do you read me? Do you read me? Like, there's an intensity to how he's saying it. Like, it's hype. It's just got like this anxiety racing through it. Like, I don't know, it just got me pumped. Do I need to reach to the TV? Like, now you're on like a video call. It's like he's trying to get to you, but then it's also like, if you take it as a fan, as a person consuming his music, can you understand the message of what he's trying to say? Does he have to reach through to get you because you're watching him through a screen, effectively a TV? Do I need to reach through the Ouija? You know, a more spiritual approach. Houston, I may have gone to Houdini. So now it's like, you know, Houston, we have a problem. You know, when you take the Houdini, it kind of sounds like a weirdo who escapes from shit. It's kind of elusive. I don't know. That's what I took. It's great. I'm too uneasy. I'm out of phase. I'm orange tang and I'm powdered eggs. So that's fascinating, because he has these fake powdered foods, right, that you add some water and comes through, but it also could make you uneasy and make you feel like you're out of phase. So I don't know, I just like the imagery there. And my radio has been down for days. I just stand around and sound out of phase. If you do read me, I shook up, shoot a beanie, y'all look for the moon graffiti, deep into some hellhole, come detect his tempo. So now it's like, if you do perceive him, he's all fucked up and shit, you know, from his shoe to his beanie. We call them toques up here. I think the word beanie is so strange. Anyway, y'all look for the moon graffiti. No fucking idea what that means, but maybe it's like trying to read the stars or look for signs and shit, but he's all fucked up because he can see that stuff. He sees the end of shit coming. Come find his like vibes, see what he's seeing with it all. I've been feeding back in these headphones, beating back a profound fear. Farewell to my breadcrumbs. Is anyone even out here? And I like it because, again, it's like he's been trying to lace this message, express all this shit forever, and he feels like isolated, like nobody else can track it. But also, if you're in a video game spaceship going down and you're trying to get out in SOS style, it totally makes sense too. I'm out there in that true 3D, and I like the way he's like, is anybody even out there? I'm like out there, and then it sounds like he's kind of high, you know. I'm in that true 3D, that new ether, again, getting high on the drug there. That do you read me? You don't read me. I'm barely a thing. Staring off. I'm too scared to blink. I might shrink down and shrink more. I shrink past this pink dwarf. So it's like, I guess, like if you're tripping out and your mind's on. So now I'm picturing him, he's really fucking high now, and he's just trying to cope, and everything's kind of spacey and hallucinogen. But then it's also like video game shit. But then it's also like I'm desperately trying to get my message across as the truest MC, and people don't fucking, it doesn't resonate, because he's a convoluted motherfucker that speaks in language that should go down as like some of the best poetry that has come out of America, in my opinion. Anyway, the whole track is dope. I mean, in terms of got this like whole flow to it. I'm not dumb, but I'm just saying, like, it's just so dope. It's just so fucking fun. And then he's got, and I play drums on the wheel, and I picture like the drum machine I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, on a loop, like whatever, whether I'm feeling out of touch or outgunned in the field. So maybe when he's feeling isolated and he can't compete musically, he still comes back to it and comes back to the music. And that's kind of what I took from it. Or maybe if you're picturing like a machine gun or some shit, he still fires, whatever, it all fits. It's still an excellent double entendre. And I think that's what's made this whole project fascinating, is how literally every line, it just serves as for promotion for this game, but simultaneously to fit like a 3-track narrative of Aesop Rocky space battling the hip-hop game. It's really cool. Then there's the second verse. Bomb sights and blackouts and fog lights and gas clouds jockey through vacuums, none of our flaps down. So now you're back into that space imagery. So jockey is like flying and shit, going through vacuums, so you're in space, that's a vacuum. None of your flaps down. I don't really, I guess that's like risky. I don't really know. Gas clouds and shit, those are stars. It's shocking. Shot off as one small part of some squadron. This ain't one chosen to abort shit. Now we've honed in on our problem non-stop until he stopped and see what kind of quadrant he got lost in. I don't know if this is a reference to like his musical career or whatever, but it's kind of like he's part of a small squadron, some squadron, so I'm assuming rhymesayers, and then everybody, I don't know if he kind of drifted off on his own to do his own thing. Either way, it feels like as a person he's kind of isolated himself to kind of soul search and figure out what the fuck's up. But he's also recommending almost to all of us to do the same thing, to like figure out where you're at. Don't just get caught up in whatever you're caught up in. And it's got this really cool tone. Do you read me? That option when y'all's options are exhausted. I've been dropped off in this mosh pit instead of locked into on orbit. That's a cool idea. So it's like when you feel like there's no way out, you know, and you feel like you've been dropped off into a mosh pit, a violent scenario, instead of locked into an orbit. So instead of getting to where you need to be, it's like a disruptive force is keeping you from achieving. Knock, knock, call back, or this cockpit is my coffin. Boss levels, I'm doomed to repeat. New dance, I call it Do You Read Me? So I'm assuming this is where you'd fight the boss in the level. Anyway, but it's like you kind of feel like it's either you come back in or you die fighting in this thing, you know? It evolves beyond yonder mantra. Once none pinching my transponder. Once what macabre y'all plan to conjure been handed back to y'all unresponsive. 10 hundred I'm instinct phone home and it just ring and ring. Asteroids that leave marks in black holes that eat stars. Green cheese and GPS beddecked with detours. Fuel gauged around each street and my beacons are all blinked out. I might sink up in that junk heap you can't read up or pin down. So it almost has like this desolate tone where it's like he feels like everything's repetitive and everything's kind of pointless, and he's still reaching out, and it's darker than everything's supposed to be. He's, you know, the asteroids that leave marks. It's like in the game, it's like you're shooting the shit, but in real life, it's the fucking things that hit you and kind of leave marks along the way. Overall, I just felt it was really invigorating. It was really like another track with a great flow, but instead of having the vapid content that plagues most modern pop songs, it rolls through with this something I could like sink into and almost connect with, and I really appreciated that. Moving on, we have the combination of Rat Skull, Snowmobile, Twice Fried, and Frozen Caveman. Technically, these are 4 really, really short musical samples. I don't know if they play a role in the levels, like they're playing out under when people are talking or something, but I found Rat Skull to be my favorite in terms of tone, and then I just kind of listened through them all, and they're all just kind of decent little instrumental compositions. It's about a minute and a half to go through it all, maybe a little more, and I mean, they're there. I don't know what I don't think I would ever listen to them again. I would listen to all 3 tracks again, but they were nice to go through. I think it's more for like fans of the game who can connect with that in a more meaningful way than I. Anyway, that's about it for this little project. Again, it was 3 tracks plus those little, you got the instrumentals on there if you want to jump on those and do your own little freestyles and shit. I'd love to hear that. If you do it, link me. I'll check it out and let you know what I think. I just think this was a cool album. I mean, it doesn't really, these little albums, their grades don't count in the big picture. Like, this doesn't hold up in terms of like a high grade I've given to, let's say, a full-length project, because usually in full-length project line with 12 tracks or whatever, like, you know, a couple of them turn into sleepers that pulled a grade down. But this was like 3 ridiculously good tracks. I'm giving it a 4.833. I do think King of World Peace is a little less good than the other 2, but it was damn near perfect. This was such a good experience. I'm really glad that I got that notification from Google saying to come check this and listen to it. And I'm really glad to be here sharing my thoughts and experiences releases on this same day listen. Normally I like to sleep on it, think more. We just ran through it together. I hope this was enjoyable for y'all. I really enjoyed this project. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know how it holds up to his old work. Will I do more Aesop Rock? Absolutely, and yes. Will it be soon? Absolutely not, unless he drops a new album. On that note, it's great to have you here. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Like the video if you did. Share it with your peeps. Tell Aesop Rock I should do an interview with him and he would like doing that and it would be a good idea. And yeah, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Kadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. They support what we do, help us get a bunch of new shit, helping us elevate, helping me put some money in a savings account. And we have a lot of expensive dreams in the near future. And thankfully, I guess this quarantine gives us all a chance to prioritize and develop a little bit. But if you want to support us and help us get some of our bigger ambitions to life, that would be amazing. Plus, you can tell us what albums to review. So usually people like to ask for reviews. If you want us to do it like we have to do it, Patreon's the best way. Otherwise, it could take a real long time before we deliver. Just saying that in the video. But we appreciate them. They're amazing people. And my favorite part is how, as they give us more requests over time, it's like we get to feel of their musical taste. And in a sense, gives us a huge sense of their personality as people. And I would even recommend, as far as dating, to just get 10 albums from the person that you're going after and see how you feel about them after bumping those 10 albums. Anyway, I also make music. I literally submitted a new single to release on May 13th. It's called Behind That Suit. It's not out yet, but I do have a bunch of shit on Spotify under my name, Holden Stephan Roy. Link in the description. Check that out. Tell Slug and them to sign me. That would be amazing. I mean, if you like it and all. That's my dream now. If I were to ever sign, it would only be to Rhymesayers. Who knows? Maybe they like it. Maybe you hate it. I don't know. I would love to hear your comments. Live long and prosper, everybody.